bonus show. If you watched my earlier show, you guys, I told you that we were having a bonus show tonight because I did not have the show last month, but my guest from last month was able to be flexible, and I'm thankful for that, and she's here with me tonight for the bonus show. I'll tell you guys again, the reason I wasn't here last month is because I am a new Nana. Princess Janae has arrived, and she has become the love of my life. And I wanted to spend time with my daughter and my grandbaby. So, tonight's show, we have the guest that was supposed to be here last month, Miss Tinsley Bradford. And we're going to be talking about settle free life, settle free in relationships, career, whatever the case may be. It's a broad, it's more than just relationship. It's a lifestyle. So I'm going to bring Tinsley on in just a moment. I'm just going to briefly read a few things about her. She's a journalist. She is the founder of Settle Free TV. She is the author of Settle Free Dating Methods for Women. And she is also a transformational speaker. I really want to talk to her about that. That's my first time hearing that, and it sounds very interesting to me. But those are just a few things she does. The bio don't have to go into major details because when Miss Tinsley gets up here, you'll find out about her. And I really want to get focused on this settle free because I think that a lot of us can benefit from that. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, I'll be joined on stage with my guest tonight, Miss Tinsley Bradford. We'll be right back with the Michelle G. Show. Welcome back to the Michelle G. Show. As you can see, my guest has joined me, Miss Tinsley Bradford. Thank you for coming on tonight. Thank you for being so flexible. I know we were scheduled for last month, but you know about being a grandma, Nana, and you know how important it is to spend that time with them. And I just didn't want, I couldn't break myself away, actually.
Oh my goodness, I know. And thank you for having me on. This is very important. Congratulations on being a first time Nana,
Yes,
right?
yes.
Yes, I definitely know the feeling.
Yes.
No need to apologize.
A whole nother level of love.
Yes.
I told my kids, I said, I love you guys. But Princess Janae, that's a whole nother level. You have no idea.
Oh my goodness.
So we're going to jump right in because it's only an hour show and the hour go by really, really fast. And what I want to talk to you about, and we're going to break it down into different segments, I guess I should say, for lack of a better word. I want to talk about first off, we'll start with what is settle free. What's the premise behind that?
Right.
I'll start with that question, and then we'll go into depth about the different areas of settle free, how it came about. But first, tell the listeners, what is settle free?
Right. So settle free is, so I'm going to give it to you like this. Some people are smoke free. Some people are alcohol free. Some people are drug free. Me, I choose to be settle free. And what that means is I refuse to settle for less than I deserve, and so should you. That's in any area of my life. I started out with relationships and dating, which I know we'll touch on this later on in the show. My book, The Settle Free Dating Method for Women. But I realized that not having settled in a bad relationship or a toxic relationship, it's just as important as not settling in anything in your life, period. Whether that's friendships, careers, your health, all of that plays a part in living a settle-free life. So the moment I realized I was no longer settling for less than I deserve, it's not been easy, but it's brought me so much peace, so much less stress, and I'm living a settle-free life, Michelle.
And see, that's something that we all can take, we can all learn from, I should say. Now, how did it come to you as far as settle free? What was that, the situation, or the circumstance that may have taken place that made you say, that brought about settle free? How did that just ring in your spirit? How did that
Yeah.
come up?
Yeah. So that's a great question. So, over the years, I am a woman who's been around and dated a few guys here and there. I do have my child. I do have a grandchild. So I've had some whack relationships in my life. Whack, good for nothing, but I
Listen.
learned from those. And I found myself over the years settling for less than I deserved in a lot of those relationships. And what that meant was I saw the signs that he wasn't a good fit. I saw that I wasn't happy. I knew he was not the one for me because of what he was clearly showing me every day and every night. I knew I needed more. But guess what? Because I was single, because I had that mindset of, well, I must be socially awkward. Let me go ahead and stay here because at least I'll be seen with a man, right? I won't look socially awkward and not have a man. So I settled. Settle Free came as I actually started a blog some years ago when I finally woke up and said, I ain't settling for this no more. I started a blog back in 2008. And I started blogging about my experiences. Don't worry, guys. I didn't put y'all name in there. But I did talk about some of my scenarios that did involve a lot of those clowns, and I'm not a male basher, but I'm just being honest. I had situations from guys, I'm going to give you an example. One guy, for instance, was dating me. We call ourselves dating. I was the driver of the relationship. And I found myself having to pick him up. I found myself having to drop him off. I found myself doing everything in my car, ripping and running. Now, he'd pull out the money and pay for food, you pay for stuff. One day I said, why don't you drive? I said, well, what is going on here? I'm like, I'm always in my car driving. I didn't want to not do it because, we talk about submitting. How can we be submissive in these relationships and let these men know that we don't mind helping out a little bit and doing our part? And I said, but I've been driving a lot and you ain't never drove. His answer was, can you believe this? Get ready to hear this. He said, so I date women where I don't have to do those things for. He doesn't plan on dating a woman that he has to do those things like driving for. This was years ago. Needless to say, it was a next for me. Me and him did not last. But see, I settled for that for a while. I was still driving him around. I was still doing things that I know I shouldn't have done. So I woke up one day and I started writing about it in my blog. And that's when Settle Free began. I said, I'm not selling for that. I'm not selling for men just wanting to get what they want for me and not giving me what I need and what I require. I'm not settling. So then over time, as I continued to assess that and I started working on my book with my lovely coach at the time who I was working with, she was like, let's pull it out. What is one of the things you want to highlight the most about your experiences and these dating experiences and the situations you've had? I said, well, I don't settle anymore. I no longer settle. And that's when we came up with my title, The Settle Free Dating Method for Women. How do you refuse to settle for less than you deserve in relationships? You follow a lot of these tips I have in this book. That's how you refuse to settle.
And we're going to get into those because I think we need to. Can we put the book right here so everybody can see it?
Of course we can.
Because we're going to set that right there. Now, the one thing that you said that stuck out to me was when you were talking about, and I'm probably going to phrase it a little bit different than what you were saying, was that you stayed in it. And even though he told you, I choose women who would do those things for me. You stayed in it for a little while. And different relationships you stay in. What do you think causes we as women, and sometimes men, and I think that your book, it reaches women, but at the same time, there's a lot of men that settle as well.
Right, I actually have a few columns that men can benefit from.
But what is it, we're talking about women right now, what is it that you think causes women to just settle? See, I remember back when I was younger, I used to hear my mom and other women say, a half a man is better than no man at all. And for the longest time, that just confused me,
Yeah.
And then as I grew and I got into relationships, and the thing is, I have a guard up. So my guard is up to where I don't let people in often. But when I do and I love hard.
Right.
So I'll stay in it until I've done everything I can.
Right.
And it's to my not to no effect of mine. It just beats me down pretty much.
Yeah.
But I stay in it, and I have in the past, I should say. What is it that you think causes us to settle like that?
I've heard of that half man too, and I've never agreed to that.
That's
even though I may
foolishness.
have lived it, and I may have been one of the people that was dealing with, I got a half a man better than not having one at all. But for women, and I can speak for myself and some of the ones I've actually observed over time, people who reached out to me in DMs and in emails about their experiences, we simply want it to work. We simply have so much hope. Women are nurturers. We are nurturers. We are always trying to nurture somebody. We go to the office and we always want to play office mom. I got the snacks. I'll make sure we're good.
Yeah.
We over here with our friends. I can pick you up and drop you off. It's not a problem. Don't worry if you don't have a car. I got you. I got you. We're always nurture. Oh, don't worry about that, sweetie. I'll go take care of that. We want it to work. So we feel that we put our best foot forward in that relationship, no matter how toxic and completely unacceptable it is. We can find a way for that man to say, wow, of all the people, this is the one that made me want to do things differently. The problem with that is, Michelle, they do things differently only when they realize they need to. They're not going to change if they don't feel like they're doing anything wrong. No matter how much you try to express yourself, if it's their way or no way, that is it. They're not changing, period. They like what they like. They want what they want. And you've allowed and accepted it for so long, why should they stop? And then when you start complaining about it, you become the problem. But the reason why we settle, to answer your question, is we want it to work. We want a relationship so bad that we'll settle and stick around and hope it gets better.
And that speaks volumes, because I found that to be true.
Yeah.
You don't want to, and then you don't want to start over. You don't want to have to walk away from another failed relationship.
Yes.
So you do, and you settle
Yes.
for whatever comes your way, because you want it, like you said, you want it to work.
Yeah.
And honestly, a man, you can't change a man.
Okay.
A man, you can't change a woman until they're ready to change.
That is true.
The change is not going to take place. No matter how much you do, you can get up early in the morning, cook dinner, house be clean, have the dinner on the stove when they get home, run their bath. It does not matter.
Right.
If he or she is not ready to change themselves, nothing you do is going to change them.
Right.
Now, going from that, like I said, I think it reaches all areas. When you say settle free,
Yes.
it may have started out being relationship,
It started out.
but now I think it's like a lifestyle.
It is.
Not settling for anything.
It is. And it feels good.
I want to start. I want to start on touching on that, because I think that there's a lot in here that we need to get to. I'm gonna start on that, and then we'll take a break. But I do want you to start diving into giving us the first tip that you think is one of the key tips to either realizing or steps to taking or steps to moving toward a settle-free life.
Right. We have to start weighing out. We measure so much in our life. We get measured in the workplace for our performance. So why aren't we measuring the performance of our mate? And I don't mean be tick for tack and be petty. But what I mean is, if it's more of a burden for you than a benefit, it's got to go. You can't keep on having to tell a grown person the same thing over and over and over and over again. You become emotionally drained. You become mentally drained. So one of my key tips is measuring your relationship and asking yourself, is this more of a benefit to me, or is this a burden? Is this lifting me up, or is this weighing me down? Is this something that's going to help me grow and evolve, or is this something that's taken away from me? Am I happy? Am I unhappy? Why am I here? Why is he here or she here? Why am I allowing this? Does this feel good? There's so many questions we have to ask ourselves when we're in relationships, or in our life, period. Am I at a place where I want to be? Am I happy right now in this position that I'm in my life? What am I doing to make things better for myself? Am I going to really get to that place? Not if I don't try and if I don't do the work. I commend you on your show. I watched you when you had, I think I showed up to one of your very first events. I don't remember what city it was in, but where you
Myrtle
stayed.
Beach.
Myrtle
Yeah,
Beach. We
yeah.
drove there, got there. It was so beautiful. But I watched you. You had that tenacity and drive in your eyes. You did not let that be it for you, that one show. You came out here and you created your own show, and you've been doing it consistently. No matter how hard it is, you still got to put the work in. And what I'm trying to get people to see, you still have to put the work in order for it to work. And so we have to ask ourselves those tough questions. Is it working?
Yes.
Is what I'm doing working? Am I happy?
Yes.
And I'm going to keep saying that. Am I happy? And I'm not saying that to be spoiled and make it just about you and nobody else. I'm making it because we don't ask that enough.
Exactly.
We settle and be okay with just okay.
Yes.
We settle, when I say settle free, I mean down to if your fries are cold, take them back. I want hot fries. Quit selling. Oh, I don't want to upset the waitress. I'm not trying to be funny, but you can say it in a nice way. Sweetie, these are cold. Could you go get me some hot ones? Quit selling for cold fries if you know you want them hot.
Listen, And it sounds like it's a simple thing, but it's not.
Yeah.
It really is not. Something as simple as not settling for cold fries can make a difference.
Mhm.
Because if you can do that, then you can move to something else,
Yeah.
and move on to something else. And when you say about being happy, we don't ask ourselves a lot of times, are we happy?
Right.
We're too busy as women a lot of times, because we are nurturers, making sure that everybody else is happy.
Amen.
And we let ourselves go.
Yes.
But at the end of the day, it's no one's responsibility for your happiness but you. You're
You.
responsible for your own happiness.
Yes, you are.
So you can't say, even though he did this or she did that, oh, I'm this way because they did this, they did that. Oh, no, no, no. You settled for that.
You settled for
So
that.
because you settled for that, that's what you got.
Yes.
But they're not responsible for making you happy. Your happiness is totally up to you.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Totally up to you.
Hence, settle free.
Settle free. Now, when it comes to, gosh, there's so many questions I want to ask about this, because I know that there's so much in the book. That's one of the key things. Can we touch on another thing that's important to know when you're trying to walk into that first, recognize, weighing it out. Like you write a list of pros and cons. And when those cons outweigh the pros, it's time to move on.
Right.
Now that's
right.
the first thing, is weighing everything out. Are you happy? And does this make me happy? Why am I here? Why is he here? Why is
Right.
she here? What is the next step that you can take after you weighed it out and you see, okay, these cons are outweighing the pros? What's the next step a person can take to head it toward a settle-free life?
Right. Sometimes change, and this is going to be something that a lot of people do not want to do. Change requires isolation, separation from the things you love the most, being around the people constantly you love the most. I'm not saying cut everyone off and shut the door and go, I'm going to sit here in this hole and not talk to anyone. That's not what I mean. But what I mean is you have to change your behavior if you want to change your life. You have to change your behavior if you want to change your life. And that means sometimes certain situations and people and things, you're going to have to make sure you change your behavior and not allow those things to continue to happen from those people that's doing that in your life. How can you do that if you continue to hang around those same people and those same situations that's making you unhappy? Whether it's a toxic, unhealthy friendship, whether it's a toxic, unhealthy relationship, whether it's a toxic workplace where you're at work and you're not happy every single day, you need to know slowly, if that's for you, that you need to start taking those or making those steps or taking those necessary steps to change that's causing you to be unhappy. So the next step is changing. My mom said something, and I love her. I can't wait. My mom's working on a book too, so she's gonna be deep with hers. 70-year-old, but she done seen and been around.
Yes.
But mom said something that was so key to me. She said, "Nothing changes if nothing changes." Mm-hmm. I will never forget that. She said, "Nothing changes if nothing changes." If we want to see a change, we got to change some things. And that might be the very thing you're dealing with every day that's making you miserable, making you unhappy. How are you going to change that? Are you going to keep hanging around those people that make you feel unhappy because, oh, that's just how they are, and, oh, we've been knowing each other for so long? Unfortunately, you confront the situation, and you have to sometimes move on for a while. Separate yourself from it and work on you. Work on yourself. What is it that you want to do? And so the next step is changing what it is that's causing you to be unhappy.
Absolutely.
That's causing you to settle.
Now, we're going to take a quick break.
Yes.
But before we take the break, I just want to touch on what she said. Change. Change isn't easy.
No.
And when you have to separate from people, you often have to, when you do your evaluation, you have to evaluate your circle. And sometimes that circle may include family.
Yes.
It may include, it's friends. It may include people at work. And you can't go to work and not talk to your coworkers, but that doesn't mean that you have to go out to dinner with them afterwards.
Right.
Okay? If they're not bringing something positive to you and it's causing you to feel some type of way when you're around them, then you need to, distance yourself.
Get that spoon out. Get that spoon out, y'all.
Even when it comes to, love them with a long handle spoon.
You have to do it.
Even when it comes to family. And that sometimes is the hardest thing. And one thing that you said, and it's another one of my pet peeves, is when the people say, that's just how they are. No. That's how you're choosing to be. That's not how you are. That's your excuse or your loophole to act the fool.
Right.
Or to treat people how you want to treat
Yeah.
them. No, ma'am. No, sir.
Right.
And it took me a long time because I used to just deal with people because I was, oh, that's how they are. But then when I realized, oh, no.
Right.
You're
Right.
using that as an excuse. And you're no longer, if you want to be like that with other people, that's fine. But
Right.
when you're in my presence, this is what I demand.
Yes.
This is what I expect. And this is what I require.
Duh.
So therefore, that's what I'm going to receive. So, I had to let them know. And I realized that people respect the boundaries
They
you
do.
set.
Oh my goodness! I was talking about this. I know we got to go in.
They may
for a
not
break,
like
but-
boundaries, but if you set them, they're going to respect
Oh my goodness! Yeah.
them.
People love it.
People love it,
We
just
don't-
like your children. They may argue and buck against the rules, but they need the rules.
They
And
need
deep
them.
down inside, they want those rules.
And they will remember it. Mama
Okay.
said no. Mama said no.
Exactly. And then when they have children, they're going to remember what you told them. You know what my mama told me? They're going to remember that.
Yeah.
Now, I can see myself going deeper into this because that kind of just, that thing with the, that's just how they are.
Uh-huh.
And yeah, because I had some situations with, some people,
Right.
that just do whatever they want to do.
Mhm.
And people always making excuses for them.
Right.
Well, why couldn't, my thing is, when I acted a monkey, you wanted to tell me about myself.
Right. Right.
So why do I have to walk that line? That same line is for everybody.
it's for everybody.
Right is right if nobody does it, and wrong is wrong no matter who does it.
Absolutely. And I love that right there. It's so true. This is how, and I'll tell a person quick, okay, well, that's just how you are, but this is just how I am. I ain't selling for it.
There you go.
How about that?
That's it.
How about that?
That's it. And
Settle free.
From now on, I'm going to say, we're going to go to break, but next time my fries cold, I'm taking them back. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back with the Michelle G Show.
Yes.
To the Michelle G Show with my lovely guest, Tinsley Bradford. We're talking about a settle-free life. Now, before the break, I talked about one of my pet peeves, and you guys can tell when I get passionate about something, I kind of lean forward, but that's just me being me. So we're going to go deeper into this. Now, that was the second tip that you can give us. Now, we're not going to give them all of it because we need y'all to buy the book. Mm-hmm. So, we can't give you everything, but we're going to give you something to go on, so you can just go find the book. But what would you say once you realize, weigh your options and realize why you're there and why you're not there. Once you realize that you have to change, which can be hard. We realize that change is not always comfortable, but it's necessary for growth.
Right.
When you realize that and you cut out all those negative people out of your life, or at least distance them, because some of them you can't cut out of your life because you got the same blood running through your veins. That's a whole nother show.
It's kind of tough.
But yeah, it's kind of tough. But what's the next thing you do once you realize that and you start to kind of distance yourself, and like you said, isolation a lot of times, and I find myself, because of one of the titles I hats I wear, I should say, and titles I hold, I find myself always going to God with certain things, as reference. And one of the things I know, that when God wants to get you to a place, he isolates you.
Right.
And he isolates you, and they have this little cliche that they say, isolation before elevation. So when you're moving to that next step, you're changing, you do have to isolate yourself.
You do.
What would you say? Okay, you started, distancing yourself from those people. What would you say is the next step, or what would be something that you would advise them to do after that?
Okay. So I love this part because it's one of my favorite parts, and I call it, you know how some people say, take them to the next level.
Yes.
So I take people to the next level all the time. I let them know how to start nexting some folks and nexting some situations.
Okay.
My next level is a little different than the next level. Mine is the next level.
Okay, let me know what the next level is. I need
So
to
the
hear
next
this.
level is, I'm gonna give you some scenarios right out of my book. So we got to wear our queen settle free style. So how are we doing that? What are some of the things that we are nexting in our lives? So let me go ahead and start with one. One of them, it's about time to. So I'm gonna read this real quick if I have time. All right. So it's about time to knock this need for self gratification down a bit, and it starts with you. If he's not showing you he's planning on dating you and showing you signs that he may be interested in something long term, block his number and keep it moving. You are a valuable person, and your time is very valuable. There is no way a man or anyone get to know more about you if they do not take the time to do so without it being forced on them or you having to beg. You don't have to beg nobody for that. You shouldn't have to. If he likes you, then he will make time for you. Men make time for things that they want. If he clearly shows you he's not interested by not calling you, he's not showing any interest, that he's not texting you point blank in the period, keep it moving and make space for the man who will put forth the effort and the man who knows your worth. If he calls you from another number hollering, what happened? Just tell him you never heard from him, so you moved on. If he tries to pursue you at that point, next, that's the next level. Next, he had more than enough time to show his interest. Hashtag settle free. And I talk about this clown has shown you on several occasions he's not serious about you.
Yeah.
Now, as we talked about earlier, we're nurturers, so we gave this clown another opportunity. We tried, we did. But he continued to show us the buffoonery side of him. It's time to say next. How many times are you going to continue to allow the behavior? When you go to work, how often does your supervisor let you come in late? Every other day you're going to be late. Every other day you're calling in sick. At some point, even your boss going to say next. So it's time for us to start nexting some people in our lives. Next, the moment he calls with foolishness. Next, the moment he comes over with, oh, can I borrow $10? You don't hardly know him, no kind of relationship. You guys don't even hardly have a bond, but he's asking for money. Next, if he's over there 45 years old, still living at home with his mom, and he's not trying to grow and evolve, because, I don't judge everybody. Some people have hardships where they have to go back for a while. I get that. But if you cannot rebuild from there and start fresh, it's time to say next to that. It's a lot of things that you just have to say next to, Where is another one here? The next level means it's just no questions asked next. That's what the next level means. It's no more, well, let me see if I can. No, you cannot. Next, because this person has shown you over and over again. Maya Angelou said it best. When they show you who they are, believe them. It's time to say next, and that's what that means. It means I'm saying next, and I'm okay with that. I'm not going to negotiate anymore. I'm not going to go back and explain to you why I'm saying it. I'm just going to say, you know what? You're not acting right. This is not working. It's time for me to say next. And I'm going to go ahead and move on. And this has helped me tremendously. I've nexted people who could have held me back in life. I've nexted guys who, if I had stayed there, I look at them now, some of them, because I've seen some of them, they really, really lost track of who they are. And they've gone down the tubes. What if I stayed? What if I stayed in that relationship with those people? I would have been continuously carrying their stuff. I would have been continuously not moving forward. I had a guy tell me one day, I'm not trying to be on those shows. I'm not trying to date nobody that's blogging. Next, because I'm blogging and I'm on shows. So you're not the one for me. Why would I stay in a relationship? He just said he's not trying to date me when he's on, if I'm blogging, if I'm on shows, if I'm doing radio.
And that's what you do.
I'm going to have to say next. Yeah. Why would I stay? He just told me he don't want to be with me because I'm doing those things.
And again, that's good. I never heard it put that way. And again, that goes for both men and women. Because, sometimes men, they'll settle.
They will
You
settle.
know, they'll settle too because for whatever reason, their reasons may be different from our reasons.
Yes.
But because they're not, we're nurturers by nature. But for whatever reason, sometimes men will just stay because
They got kids together.
yes, or whatever the case may be, they just stay, and that
Comfortable.
goes because it's comfortable, because it's familiar, and they'll stay, and that goes for them. And that goes for them as well. You don't have to settle either.
You don't have to settle.
This
And
is-
then if you're going to settle, get this, Michelle, get this. Settle and be happy where you are. Quit DMing us trying to get us on the side. Quit DMing us trying to get what we got that you know you really want. When if you was a man enough, instead of being a coward, you go ahead and do what's right. You can make that thing work and co-parent right. I'm not trying to say leave your wife and your family. But what I'm saying is quit hitting me up in the DMs because you know that you ain't happy where you at. I am not here to fill in your void.
Listen.
You need to figure out what you need to do with your own life and fill in your own void. They do it all the time. They DM. I got one time I post a cute picture. I got 3 or 4 guys I ain't heard from in 3 months. Hey, what's going on? You seen the picture? Next. I leave them sitting there.
Listen, and the reason I'm about to jump out my seat because I'm about to jump out my seat literally because I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
And we're not. Trust me, this is not a show to bash men.
It's not.
The settle free life goes for men and women.
Yes.
It goes for men and women. So everything that we're talking about for a woman, it's the same thing for men. You don't have to, for a man, you don't have to settle. But one of my biggest things is someone will get in my DM and you don't know me. And because I'm now on this platform, people befriend me all the time, social media. I don't know you, but because I'll go and I'll check and I see that there's nothing really negative on your page, and you have to know at least 5 or 6 more people that I know, and
Right.
I'll friend you. I was like, okay, so we're gonna go ahead and I'll friend you, and then the next thing I get in my hello, hey beautiful.
Oh my gosh.
First of all, I already know I'm beautiful.
Thank you.
You don't have to tell
Don't
me
need
that.
you to tell me.
You don't have to tell me that. I know that. That does not, let me give you a hint, fellas. That doesn't help you. Okay? Just a hint. That doesn't help you. You're not telling me something that I don't already know.
Right.
Those are the people, and now I'm going to start using this. I usually will go ahead and unfriend them immediately. Because then the conversation shortly after that goes to the left.
You
I don't
already
have
see
time
where it's
for
gonna
that.
go.
I can see where it goes. I don't know you. You're already calling me beautiful. I don't know you.
Right.
So I go ahead and unfriend them.
Right.
So now I know, next.
Next, and let me tell y'all something. This is going to help a lot of people. Facebook now has a dating app. Did you know that? Go to Facebook and meet your mate. Quit
Foolish.
DMing people that's not available because you're not available. If you know you're not available, quit DMing people when you're not available and go look at that dating part of Facebook and find your bae, your boo, your shawty, whatever you want to call it, in there. Okay?
That is so, this is hilarious. Like I said, this is hilarious to me. And the way you bring it out, I like the way you say it.
It's
So
the truth.
now I'm just gonna, be putting in bold letters.
Next. I've even said it to some
I
people.
don't-
When they
I
DM me, they
don't
be like,
have
hey, so I'll be
time.
like, next, and move
Yeah,
on.
I don't have time for that, but I don't understand what makes you feel that you can, because you saw my picture.
Entitlement.
Yeah, you saw my picture. You saw whatever it was that you saw. Is there something written on my face that makes you think that I'm that type of person?
Well, let me
'Cause
tell
I'm
you,
not.
a lot of men will try to check you. They want to check and see how far you're going to go. If you start falling into the relationship, there's nothing wrong with being polite. I'd rather a man say, hey, beautiful than sexy any day. But to your point, you've already walked in saying, hey, beautiful, trying to lasso me in with your words without even knowing me, without bonding, without really engaging in any of my statuses to really see what I'm doing on my page that you just friended me on. But you're already saying, hey, beautiful. You thought I was going to be so intrigued because you said beautiful. Once again, don't need nobody to tell me that. But then you thought I was going to keep the conversation going, and then I didn't say anything back, or I said something back, and you didn't like what I said. Then you start that real, I was wondering when old Ike was going to show up. That real you started to come out. That real you started to come out, and then you start acting a fool. We got to go. It's time for you to go.
Been there.
Yes.
It don't know where it comes straight
It
from
just
the left.
comes straight. I was wondering when he was showing up.
Straight from the left. That's why I just, and it just so you know, fellas, I'm just telling you, it doesn't help you. It does not help you. And please don't get in people's DMs.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah.
Yes.
So the month of October is Domestic Violence Awareness Month. So I do have a chapter in here where, and it's a part of my next. If he's verbally, physically, mentally, and emotionally abusive, next, with a capital N, you do not have to sit around and try to measure that. You don't have to say, well, he hit me once. I don't care if he hit you once. If he pushed you, next. That's a domestic situation already. If he's verbally doing things to hurt you, that's the start of domestic violence, because he's going to verbally do it first. You know, I don't want to bash Ike Turner, but I'm bringing up a scene when I was watching What's Love Got to Do with It with Tina Turner, who all we know, if you saw her story, she was in a very domestic abusive relationship for years with Ike. And when they first met, he asked her out on a date because he saw how talented she was when she was at the open mic. He wanted to sign her or work with her or whatever. But there's a scene, and I always bring this up. This man, Ike, was trying to see how easy she was. When they were at that table in that diner, they were talking. He's a smoker. So he dropped his cigarette on the floor. She picked it up. I want you to look at that, y'all. And the camera zoomed in and watched it because they wanted you to see already, without him even having to earn nothing. He dropped his cigarette. Why is she picking it up? Boy, you the smoker. You pick it up. You dropped it. The problem is she did it. So he was like, bam!
I got you.
If she'll pick the cigarette up, what else she'll pick up?
I never noticed that.
I noticed it.
I never.
It don't take merch. I noticed it.
I never noticed that.
Y'all watch it. If you ever watch it again, seriously, you know, and not just the month of October, just every day of your life. It's easy to get manipulated when you don't feel good about yourself. You just feel like the man is just everything that you need, and he's so bad to you. But because he knows how to play with your emotions so much, you keep going back and forth and back and forth. That on again and off again relationship, that is a clear sign that he's not sure about you. You don't need to be with anybody that's not absolutely sure. How do you go to work? And I keep using work as an example because it's the way we pay bills and we live. Do you go to this job and say, I don't know if I want to be here. Let me take my laptop home and go back to I guess I'll come back. And you stay gone a week. You come back to work Friday. Ain't been there all week. You go back Saturday. Let me see if I like it. Well, I guess I'll take my laptop back home. That manager going to be like, next. You know, but that's how we allow relationships. Why do we allow the on and off again relationship so much? It's a clear sign. So what I did to stop that is I started telling the guy, quick, look, it's clear you're not ready for this, and this is a lot to deal with, and I get it, but I don't have time for the back and forth. I'm not being mad at you. I'm not bitter. It's just a next for me. You're going to have to say it like Randy said on American Idol. It'll be a next for me. Yeah, it's going to be a next for me. Mm-hmm.
Oh, I'm trying to.
That word is so funny. Isn't it fun? It's easy.
That was funny to me because when she said this is a lot, I think about myself and anybody that has to deal with me. Anybody that has to deal with me, I am a lot. So I commend any man that has to deal with me because I am a lot. I am a lot to deal with. We're going to take a quick break and we're going to finish talking about a settle-free life. We'll be right back with the Michelle G. Show. OG show. I am really enjoying this show. I am so glad you came on, Tinsley. We're gonna briefly talk about one more step, and then we want to talk about if you can explain, because I want to know for myself as well what a transformational speaker is. But if you could give us, like, after you've next them, like, next, I got to start using that. So you guys don't be surprised if you don't see with all caps next on my Facebook page. I'm gonna be using that. I'll give credit to Tinsley the first time I use it. After that, it's all mine. So, so next, what's another step after you've next? What is something else? And after that, you guys gonna have to go buy the book.
Yeah.
So, what's something else that they can do to start moving toward a settle-free life?
Right. So one of the things that, I often talk about is, and this is a little different. This right here is going to make people laugh because it's in my book. I talk about adding a little kinky to your relationship.
Ooh.
This is something that you're going to be like, darn, I didn't expect her to say that, but it's true. You have got to, if you're attracted to this man is attracted to you, y'all in a relationship, you can't be sitting there talking about, I don't usually do that. Well, you better start lightening up, sweetie. Because somebody will do it. Add some kinky to your relationship. Do something different. Put on some thongs. Put on something freaky. Some red boots with some high heels. Look like you just working at the club somewhere, the strip joint. Get in there and make that man go crazy. When you're in a relationship, a long, committed relationship, or you're married. I've had men go, their wife don't do some of the things. Why'd you marry somebody that's not giving you that fulfillment? There we go again with them DMs. You coming to DM me to get it, but you could have had somebody that's doing it. We kiss the kids. Wash your mouth with some darn soap or whatever you got to do. Toothpaste. Quit using that as an excuse. So add some kinky to your relationship, y'all. I'm telling you, it will get you where you need to go in life as far as relationships. Men are very sexual creatures. Women are too. We try to pretend like, I don't do that much. You want it too. You want it too. You just as sexual as him. You know how to squeeze on him. You know how to make it work. You know how to rub it. All that, smack it up. Do those things in the bedroom. Do those things in the kitchen. Do those things where you feel comfortable doing. Add some kinky to your relationship. That's settling. If you're not getting that, you're settling. You're settling in a relationship that you're not fulfilled with because you ain't getting what you need. And there we go over to Michelle's DM. Hey, beautiful. Because you're trying to get it from her. Because you're not getting it at home. The very person that you're committing your time to, your life to, won't give it to you. Why won't they give it to you? Now, on the flip side of that, we as women, we have needs too. I'm not going to smack it up and rip it down and all this if you're not doing right at house. If you're not the man I need you to be. If you're not giving what I require, what I deserve in a relationship, you're not queening me, you don't get to smack it. You don't get to get that stuff. And I'm not saying I'm a whole, in a mason jar and not do nothing. I ain't saying that. But what I am saying is watch out for me not giving you what you continue to get for free if you're no longer doing anything to earn it. If I sit right here, if I go to work right now and I sit here all day, phone ringing, emails coming, folk knocking on the door, I'm just sitting there. Ring, ring. Did I earn anything? What have I earned? Just sitting there. So guys and women, but guys in relationships, you gotta earn it. I'm sorry. I will do you right. Right? It's almost Valentine's Day coming up in February, right?
Yes,
I will do you right if you do me right. So I'm gonna let that sit right there. What we can work on is how we can spice up our relationships a little bit more. Sometimes that's what's missing, but we gotta have conversations to get to that and solve the problem. If it's a small communication gap, try to clear it up. Don't let communication, that's one of the keys too. Communication in relationships is very important, and friendships. Don't let communications and things like that cause you to not be able to get to another level in that relationship when you simply can just get over that hurdle. If y'all are compatible, the relationship is strong, the love is there, the chemistry is there, you pretty much have been friends and then you're now lovers, you into each other. Then along the way something happened where, some things change and you're just not really vibing anymore. Talk it out. Sometimes you grow out of relationships, but talk it out. Don't let, he ain't say nothing to me, so I ain't gonna say nothing to him. Y'all sit in the same house watching TV, can't even talk to each other. He's sleeping downstairs, you sleeping upstairs. Every day you come home, you don't know what to expect. That's not a healthy relationship where you can't even be yourself around your mate. I want to be with somebody where I can be myself all the time. I can act a fool or I can act conservative. I can do what I want to do and be accepted and embraced by that. You don't want to be in a relationship where you have to walk on eggshells. You know what I'm saying? in that relationship. So
Whew. Now, Miss Tinsley
knock it
said
up.
a lot. I'm not going to go into detail
Run
with
it
my
down.
response, but what I will say is this. I will say, um, hmm, I'm in agreement with what she says. The one thing I can say, and I'll speak on, although I've never been married, but it's something that my old bishop taught us with married couples, and it prepares you, because I believe that you have to be a wife before you can be a wife.
Right.
So, in saying that, if you're married and, like she said, locking it up in a mason jar, him sleeping on the couch, our bishop taught us, stop putting your husband out on bed. It don't matter how mad y'all get, y'all still sleep in that same bed. Turn your back to each other, whatever, because when you keep putting them out on the couch, you're steady pushing them closer to that door to go to somebody else. That's when you end up in that DM.
And Michelle got to tell him next.
Exactly. That's when you end up in that DM. But as far as what she's saying, adding a little, I'll just say, use the word flavor. Add a little excitement to your relationship, in that way, it's okay to try. I'll just say I'm in agreement with that. And that way I'll keep myself, safe from saying too much. Okay. All right. I have to
You want to know
remember.
more about the
Yes.
transformation too, right?
Yes. Real briefly, can you tell us what a transformational speaker is?
Yes. So when you heard the cartoon Transformers,
Oh, yeah.
they go from a small box or a car or a truck, whatever they are, and they grow into this big old giant robot. So they transform from one thing to the next. So I want people to get this. This is not a joke. As funny as I've made this book, it's very humorous. After every chapter, I have a special saying that really, really elaborates further on that chapter. And you have to get the book, The Settle-Free Dating Method for Women, to get that. But I also have a lot of humor in my book. But I really want y'all to get this. I'm telling you, I have been able to really, really evolve in my life because I refuse to settle in so many areas of my life. That's what transformational means. It means I'm transforming your mind, your whole body, and your soul into now doing things differently so that you can get the reward. The reward is that happy life you deserve. The reward is that happy place that you want to be in and you want to stay in. The reward is not being in a toxic, unhealthy relationship. The reward is not having unsupportive, real, genuine friendships that you can depend on. I don't care how far you fall on your face. Real friends should never exclude you and count you out and treat you differently. They should always support and be there for you. I don't care how much you're going through in your relationship. Your lover and the person you chose to be with should always be there for you. Unless we assess that it's not a good match, you guys might need to just kiss and say goodbye sometimes. I don't care what's going on. You should never have to go to work every day miserable, dealing with a toxic boss or someone that's not helping you evolve within the company. If you can't get it to be what you need for it to be, I want you to get it up here. I want you to transform your way of thinking. Really, really think about and transform your way of thinking to say, I am not happy anymore. I got to sit back, meditate. Whatever your spiritual belief is, talk to your higher power, ask questions. I pray before I do anything now. And I didn't used to do that. I pray before I do anything now. And I stopped a long time ago, then I started back, then I stopped and I started back. And I know God probably saying he's sick of my own again and off again relationship. But I pray before I do anything now. And I'm going to tell you, it really, really cleanses so much of me. And so transformational means I'm going to get up in front of people. And when they leave that room, their way of thinking is going to be different. It's going to be transformed from what they used to think was the right way or the best way to a way that actually works. They're going to start taking action on their life. They're going to start doing things differently. They're going to start saying next to some people and some situations and some folks that they need to start saying next to. And so that's what transformational speaker means. When I'm done speaking in front of a room, people are transformed. May not be everybody, but people will be transformed into a different being, and they're going to start studying things, some of the steps that I said to take to be better.
That's wonderful. I just wanted to clear, because I wanted to know for myself. We're getting close to the time to end the show, and I really, it's been a good show. But there will be a part 2.
Yeah.
There will be a part 2. I'm going to get with Miss Bradford,
Yeah.
and we're going to figure out a time where I can bring her back and we can dive deeper into this, because I think it should be a continued conversation.
It's a movement.
I believe so.
Yeah.
I believe so. We're going to give Tinsley just a moment and just a minute to tell where you can, how you can follow her, what she has upcoming, and before I completely end out the show. But I want to take a moment to do the baggage claim. And again, I found another ticket that was in my box. And for those of you who are just tuning in for the first time, baggage claim is, it goes with my book. My book is Baggage Drop the Weight. And I have people to send me these luggage tags or emails or whatever of things that they realized that they were carrying that they want to drop. And this one was, someone had put a baggage claim in here about why there were always someone, the question of why it was not them concerning a relationship. And I figured this was the perfect time to bring this one out. And the reason I say that you have to, and what I want to say about that is this: examine your situation. Don't always think that it's something with you. It may not be with you. It may not be the right time. And what goes along in my book was the chapter that deals with relationship is it ordained by God? Because if it's ordained by God, it's going to work. Sometimes we have to wait. The wait is not always easy. But while you wait, find other things for yourself to do. But in that waiting time, there's nothing wrong with being single. Being single, sometimes people think it as taboo, or they have a stigma against being single. But there's nothing wrong with being single. During that time, work on you. Do things, find out what it is that your passion is. Learn to love who you are. And when you love who you are, you're preparing yourself and making yourself ready for who God has for you. Maybe God hasn't sent who he has for you because he knows you're not ready yet. For me, and I'll use myself as an example, being in bad relationships before and going through hurt and being broken emotionally, physically, being hurt and broken, that I didn't recognize what love was when it came because it wasn't wrapped up in pain. So I pushed it away, and I pushed it away until I finally realized, and I had to open my eyes and say, Shell, this is love. This is love, but it took that from me because I was so used to what I was used to. I came accustomed to being hurt. I came accustomed to being misused, mistreated, and abused, that because what was sent to me didn't come in that form, I tried to dismiss it and push it away because it wasn't what I recognized. So take this time to deal with you. Deal with who you are. Build yourself up. But don't ever think that it's something wrong with you while you're not in a relationship. Seek God. Ask him to send you who he has for you. And this goes for both men and women. Send who he has for you. Because if he sends them and he ordains it, then it's going to work out. Real quickly before I end the show, Ms. Tinsley, can you tell people what's upcoming for you and where they can go and purchase your book?
Now, you got to follow me on TinsleyBradford.com. That's my website. You have to follow me on Settle Free TV on Instagram. And you have to follow me at TinsleyB on Instagram. In December, don't have a date yet, I'm planning something a little different. I typically do Settle Free mixers. I've done 4. They've been very successful. This time I'm going to do a little something different if I can get everything to fall into place in the month of December. I haven't chose a date, which is why you got to follow me in order to find out when. But it's going to be sort of like a play date. But I'm going to be doing something where I'm bringing men and women together. We're going to find out why is it so hard for us to date. We're going to try to see if we can walk away with a couple of dates. It's going to be real fun. And I'm going to have some people in the building that, little eye candy, but hopefully it's going to be some men that's serious about dating. So I'm trying to gather up me some people now, and I think it's going to be very successful in December, so stay tuned on that. Y'all, I want y'all to know how serious this is. You can also email me at settlefreetv at TinsleyBradford.com with any questions you have. And of course, on social media, my email is linked to my pages, so you can get right to my website if you have any questions and want to work with me. I do coaching. I do live speaking. I do speaking engagements. I am available to, just like this, if you want to try and learn more about me, I can be booked onto your show. I've been on some pretty nice platforms. I've been on CNN, HLN, Mommy Noor. I've had the chance to share the stage with the impeccable Lisa Nichols. And a lot of the stuff that I've been able to do over time, I was writing for Amazing Magazine, Bold Favor Media Group. I've loved, been doing that for years. But those opportunities came because I did what? I didn't settle for less, I sit there and go, okay, well, I've been emailing these people for this show. They didn't reach out. But God said, no, bigger. And then CNN called. Hey, Tinsley, I want you on there. Sometimes we got to sit back and let God answer our questions for us. And a lot of these things that happen in our life will happen when he sees that you're refusing to settle for less. And that's what it is. That whole settle-free lifestyle, go to Amazon and get this book. And I actually got some with me. If you reach out to me, I can send you a book in the mail. The Settle-Free Dating Method for Women. It's a no-nonsense advice guide. I got some major endorsements on the back here. Nando Rodriguez. I got Quincy Shelton. I got Abiola Abrams. I got Lisa J. Davis on here. I got Susie Single Dating Diva. She's been all on Canada's TV. So go get it. TinsleyBradford.com.
Right. Thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you, Michelle.
It's been a wonderful show, and you guys stay tuned, and I'll be announcing when part 2 is coming. Now, I'm going to go ahead and end the show, but I want to say what I always say just to give you guys some encouragement. Remember, everybody's not going to like you. Everybody isn't for you, and it's okay. Remember that you are enough. You are enough to accomplish whatever it is that you set your mind to accomplish. And everybody, like I said, everybody's not going to like you. Everybody's not going to get with you, and it's all right. But remember, you may not be everyone's cup of tea, but you're definitely someone's special brew. Thank you, and tune in next month, because I got a wonderful show coming up next month, but tune in the 4th Monday of next month with Michelle G. Show. Now, I am going to be on, you guys stay tuned to Regina Sunshine Global Network, because the curve is coming up at 9 o'clock, and I have been invited, and I'm so excited because I watch this show all the time, as a guest on this show. You guys don't want to miss it. I don't know what we're going to talk about, but I know it's going to be something very interesting. So you guys stay tuned, and thank you for tuning in to the Michelle G. Show. You guys have a good night.
Bye.
Mm-hmm.